Fill to Capacity, where heart, grit, and irreverent humor collide. A podcast for people too stubborn to quit and too creative not to make a difference. Hi, I'm Pat Benincasa, and welcome to Fill to Capacity, episode 140, Wrong Turn, Right Life. Nobody plans for a detour. It just shows up. You take a job that isn't the one you wanted. It's a stopgap, something to pay the bills while you figure out the real plan. Years later, you're still at the stopgap job. Or you end up with someone or end up leaving someone in a way you never saw coming. It scrambles the life you thought you were building. Or an illness, an injury, a death in the family. Something forces you to stop moving in the direction you were headed. The plans get shelved. None of those detours were expected, but maybe they weren't wrong turns either. The nice thing about detours is that they are a roundabout way of finding your original path, only this time you know more. The fact is, you don't jump ahead to knowing more. It comes with figuring things out. It's a lived experience kind of knowing. And there are three things to consider. The first, damn it, I feel this way. Almost everyone has a version of, I got sidetracked from what I was really meant to do. People carry shame or regret over what they see as lost years, time spent off the path they originally set out on. I always wanted to write a book. I started it, but then life got in the way. My demanding job, plus aging parents, and then the kids. Responsibilities took over. This is not laziness or failure. It's a detour that still counts as movement. But that inner critical voice judges the detour against the original plan, as if the plan was the only valid measure of progress or meaning. That plan was made with less information than you have now. The caretaking, job demands, the juggling and problem-solving years have equipped you with an emotional bandwidth and wisdom about what people actually need in a crisis, about your own limits, about what success even means at this stage of your life. Okay, time for a public service announcement. This is not an everything happens for a reason TV moment. What I'm talking about is raw and narrow. The detour becomes understood as useful only in hindsight, and only if you're willing to look back and ask, what did I actually learn here, rather than how far behind am I? The shame of a detour comes from comparing yourself to a plan that no longer fits who you are, And the way out of that shame isn't finishing the original plan, it's noticing what the detour taught you that the plan couldn't have. Next, a line with ants in its pants. We're taught to picture life as a straight line, A to B, B to C, each point following the last. Detours break that picture, so they feel wrong. But almost nobody's life is actually a straight line. Maybe the detour isn't the exception, it's the design. Paul Klee, the Swiss-German artist, wrote something in his Bauhaus teaching notebooks that's often paraphrased as, "A line is a dot that went for a walk." Take that a step further. A line isn't two fixed points connected. It's the record of a journey, dot by dot, wandering wherever it went. Detours feel like failure in the moment, lost time, wrong turn, derailment. But a line doesn't know it's off course. It just keeps going. Maybe a life is the same way, still on the way, just longer. And finally, elasticity. A carton of milk has a use-by date. Somewhere along the line, we started believing people do too. There's an age when it's too late to start, too late to try, too late to want something new. I had a dream in my 40s that I will never forget. I'm at a gathering in a cemetery. The grass is damp, the sky is overcast. People are circled around the grave, whispering to each other and nodding in agreement. I get close enough to hear what they're saying. She was too afraid to try. Then I see the headstone. It has my name on it. I jolted awake. Now, some people never accept the use-by date at all. Diana Nyad tried to swim from Cuba to Florida in her 20s. She failed and walked away from it for over 30 years. At 64, she went back and finished it. The first person ever to make that swim without a shark cage. The years she spent away weren't wasted time. They were part of what let her finally succeed. Frank McCourt spent decades teaching high school English in New York, telling other people's stories out of the literary canon. He didn't tell his own until he was 66, and Angela's Ashes became one of the most celebrated memoirs of its generation. Julia Margaret Cameron didn't pick up a camera until she was 48, when her daughter gave her one as a gift. She spent the rest of her life making it her art form. And today, she's remembered as one of the defining portrait photographers of the Victorian era. None of them checked the expiration date society handed them. They just kept going, knowing they had this thing to do. Elasticity isn't just the willingness to flex the detours, it's more than that. It is a ridiculous tenacity to pursue an outrageous dream because the thought of waking up another day without doing it is unbearable.